Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for registering and joining our webinar. In a bit, we will show you how to supercharge your decisions experience with AI. We'll give it a second more to see if some more people join in, but I appreciate you blocking off some time and joining us today. And I'm going to actually hand the reins of the meeting over to Danny. So, Danny, go for it, my friend.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jose, and thanks everyone for joining. My name is Danny. I am one of the North American account executives here, and I'll be taking you all through some slides shortly before handing it off to my colleague, Ben, who's going to run through a demonstration. Now, the content of this session will focus on key AI functionality within decisions. Our expectation is that for most, this information should be familiar and serve as a reminder on how you can utilize Decisions AI for efficiency gains before, during, and after the meeting. Now, if this content is brand new and intriguing, we recommend that you contact your account rep after the fact to organize a meeting. And lastly, we will be having a Q&A session at the very end. So we encourage you to put any questions that you have in the chat during the presentation, and we will do our best to get them all answered. With that, let's move forward. So what challenges are there in meetings today? Meetings are a common denominator for everyone, every day, no matter what industry you work in or what job function you perform. And with that come a whole slew of challenges. Preparation is time-consuming, often lacks collaboration. Lack of clarity and structure can cause confusion, which leads to inaction and time wasted. Focus and participation gets derailed with multitasking. Post-meeting follow-up is delayed due to consuming administrative and manual work. And security concerns in today's world create a pause on enabling teams with meeting tools to help with efficiency. With the introduction of Decisions AI, we can start to overcome these challenges and feel efficiency gains in our meetings, such as faster, more collaborative preparation, clearer, more engaged discussion, instant summarization and follow-up, increased productivity with less manual documentation, and trust and security to the same standards as Microsoft. Now, this diagram represents a standard meeting process from start to finish, broken into 3 key phases: meeting prep, actually running the meeting, and post-meeting actions and follow-up. Without the incorporation of AI, we feel the pain in each meeting phase. In prep, we can deal with repetitive agenda creation, delays in seeking peer input, and manual edits. In actually running the meeting, things like manual action taking, multitasking, and manual note taking can take away from the flow of the discussion. And then in post-meeting, we have to gather all of the materials, manually assign tasks, decisions, and create meeting recaps or minutes documents by hand. The implication, of course, being meetings that are time-consuming with manual actions and often inaccurate outcomes. Our mission is to enable our customers with AI tools that enhance meeting productivity, remove manual roadblocks, and give you back time to focus on what matters the most, your work. With Decisions AI enabled and implemented into your meeting processes, your teams and organizations will start to realize these efficiency gains. You'll save time during meeting prep with automation and collaboration, the ability to save and reuse agenda templates, collaboration with peers on agendas, and the ability to create meeting board packs with just a few clicks. In running the meeting, we can stay focused and engaged on the discussion, knowing that the AI will capture key meeting insights and decisions, which are tracked and stored in searchable summary lists. And after the meeting, we can summarize, edit, and follow up in minutes, not hours or days. If you all were not already aware, Decisions does have a mobile app that's compatible with both iOS and Android devices. Some of the key highlights there include managing meetings on the go with the ability to review agendas, documents, and recaps from anywhere. Real-time access to follow live agendas, add notes, and stay engaged even when you're away from your desk. Seamless follow-up, You can view minutes, documents, decisions, and action items post-meeting, all synced with Microsoft 365. This is ideal for executives and distributed teams alike to stay connected, informed, and accountable wherever you are. I'll say that if you'd like to learn more about the app, feel free to download it, give it a try, and reach out to us for support or questions. All right, customer story time. So I want to share this customer story specifically and highlight their success in embracing and adopting Decisions AI. The customer, Regenerative Biologics, is a trusted provider of human tissues for transplants, research, and educational purposes. We worked with the vice president of operations over there, who was faced with the challenge of complexity across departments. So he was managing two complex donation programs and rapid organizational growth. After testing a number of other tools and struggling, he turned to us here at Decisions, seeking a better way to keep meetings and teams aligned. Now, some of the key outcomes that came from their adoption of Decisions AI included increased productivity. AI boosted team participation and productivity by an estimated 80%, as highlighted by the quote up there in bold. Improved accountability. Clear records and recaps ensured that everyone follows through on their commitments. Streamlined project management. The ability to track tasks across multiple concurrent projects, all within Microsoft 365. Executive adoption. So leadership embraced AI recaps for fast post-meeting visibility. And this is all scalable across teams. So usage continues to grow there, and we're in conversations to further expand AI licenses across several other departments. Now, this is the last slide of the presentation focused on the security aspects of Decisions AI. As a preferred Microsoft partner, Decisions is fully committed to maintaining strong security and data protection practices through an ISO-certified information security management system, an independently audited SOC 2 Type 2 program, and an architecture that ensures customer data remains stored exclusively within the customer's Microsoft 365 tenant. Decisions AI processes data transiently through Azure OpenAI with no storage of prompts or outputs, no training use, and processing isolated to the customer's chosen region. So we give you the choice of either Europe or the US. And customers maintain full control and can disable AI at any time. If there are any specific questions about security, please feel free to reach out to your contact, your account rep, or a customer success manager, and we'd be happy to get those answered. And at this point, I'm going to transition it over to the demo portion. My colleague, Ben. Thanks everyone for their attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Danny. Let me get my screen up here so we can start to dive in. Thanks again, everyone, for joining today. Looking forward to really dive in. As Danny mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to be focusing really on the AI and how that can make you more productive throughout the day, help you stay organized throughout the day, and maybe show you some areas where you just weren't aware where AI can be leveraged within decisions. And then again, if there's anything that you feel that there's something you, on the core side of things, you still need some help with, you can of course go and watch our Decisions 101 webinars. You can find those on our website, or of course reach out to your account rep. We're happy to set up some time to chat with you here. So diving in, the only other area where you can also get some real quick answers if you do have specific questions, AI powered as well. Down here in the right-hand corner, the how can I assist? If you got a question about how do I build an agenda, how do I use this function, whatever it might be, you can type that in here, and then it's going to give you the answers as well as direct you to our Help Center articles to help answer whatever question you might have. So that's a great way to get a quick answer for anything that you might need throughout the day. Now, we're of course here in the Decisions dashboard. So before diving into building an agenda and working through the meeting lifecycle, using AI, I want to first focus on the My Assistant. That is going to be AI powered as well. Now, you might recognize this also over in the Teams chat, the Teams chat bot. Everything that I'm going to be doing here, you can also do over in the Teams chat section as well. So depending on whatever is your favorite entry point, you can use either location to do so. Same prompts, same communication style, whatever it might be. Now I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. We have a lot of prompts that are available with the assistant. So planning, preparing, and then following up on meetings. So I'm going to walk through scheduling a meeting here in a second and checking availability. You can also start to suggest topics for meetings that you might have coming up that you've been invited to. Maybe you're not the organizer. Start to create agendas for meetings where you are. Get daily and weekly briefs. I personally like to do that first thing Monday morning. Understand, all right, what do I have coming up this week? What important meetings do I have? What tasks do I still have out there that I haven't gotten to yet? Just to make sure I'm staying productive throughout my day and throughout my week. You can even search through SharePoint for a file. So maybe it was buried in email, you want to easily find it. Go ahead and find it using the assistant through SharePoint. And then you can recap meetings, minutes, add notes to meetings, and then you can set reminders as well. So personal reminders even, anything for work, whatever it might be. And that's going to come through on that Teams chat bot as well for the reminders that you do set. So I'm going to go ahead and actually schedule a meeting here. So let's say that I want to schedule a meeting next week with Danny and Jose. And instead of doing the back and forth on Teams or on email or looking at the scheduler, trying to figure out, hey, when are they going to be available? I can simply put that in here into the My Assistant. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to look at our Outlook and our Teams calendars to see when we have meetings and when we might have some availability where we're all free. So it's going to check and see when those best time slots are on the days that I asked, and it's going to give us a few suggestions. So 1, 2, 3, whichever one works best. I'm going to say option 1. That's going to go ahead and start to confirm a few more pieces of information to make sure it is the meeting we want. We could give it a name, whatever it might be. And then once we confirm everything, I say yes. That's now going to send that invite out to our Teams and Outlook calendars. So that's ready to go, and then I can get on with my day. I can even start building the agenda directly in here if I'd like, or whatever else it might be necessary while I am working on the My Assistant here. So hopping back into the meetings, we're going to start to walk through that meeting life cycle. Again, prepping for the meeting, building the agenda, actually running the meeting, and of course the recap or minutes portion following for that post-meeting document as well. So number 1, of course, I want to come and find the meeting in question that I want to start to build an agenda for. So I've got that right here. Now this is a meeting, recurring meeting I've got. So first, I can, of course, build my agendas from scratch, templates, or we're going to dive into the AI assistant here. But this is a recurring meeting, so I'm actually going to start completely from the assistant. Correct one here. There we go. So I'm going to use the agenda from my last meeting that I had previously beforehand. I can confirm the items that I want because this is a template we use for all those meetings. Maybe I don't need this one. I'm going to go ahead and save it as draft. So now that I've got the standard template that we use for this team meeting, I'm going to enhance it with AI. Click this agenda assistant here. Now what it's going to look for is a lot of different areas and inputs that can help us build those agendas. So number 1, the previous meeting recap or minutes. I want to make sure that everyone coming to this meeting remembers, hey, this is what we talked about the last time. I can add in the open tasks and a LinkedIn agenda item to the tasks that we have so we can easily hop over into Planner if we like to do it there rather than in Decisions. Meeting chat. So this is a great functionality that if you're not aware, so when a Teams meeting opens up, of course, it has the meeting chat as well. You can do this either directly in Decisions or over in the chat section within Teams. Keep that meeting chat open between 1 week to the next. If there's important things you want to discuss, agenda items, whatever it might be, it's going to start to recognize those conversations and then suggest those as potential agenda items when you're using the AI assistant as well. And then I've got a suggested agenda item. So one of my team members, they recommended something that we want to talk about. It'll recognize those so we can pull in. And also, if there's anything in the Outlook calendar event, it'll include that. Or if there's anything in the Microsoft meeting notes within the virtual meeting setting, it can recognize those things as well, just like the recap of the minutes does. So once I've got all my information, I'm going to generate that update. So it's going to include what I had brought in from before, as well as what I wanted to enhance with AI. So again, it's going to have these existing items, and then those different items that the AI recognized and we want to bring in. Now we can continue to adjust here. Maybe we want to say, hey, this one should have 5 minutes, or maybe let's fit something else in. I can prompt it directly. I can make edits directly in here as well too. However, once it's ready to go, we'll go back to save as a draft. So let that save here for a moment. Now, we're diving a little more where we can use AI while we're still building the agenda before we publish it. You, of course, can have your co-authors as well as granting access to different individuals who need that access. So co-authors, of course, they'll have the full ability to edit like I have here now. Or if you're giving someone access, they can come in. So let's say they're responsible for a specific agenda item. So I'm going to take my hat off. Let's pretend I am now David Jeffries. I have the right access into this agenda, but I want to make an update. So I can come in and edit it like I normally would, but I can also use AI. So those purple icons here, that signifies AI. If I want to make some specific changes based on some notes I have, whatever it might be, I can simply prompt it right there, hit send. It's going to take a moment to think about it based on the updates that I want to add. I'm going to add those in, and then I can now replace that and get on with my day. So then we now have this agenda, it's ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and publish it out. All right, so of course, we can update the agenda within the Outlook and Teams calendar invite. And then we also have the ability to add this AI meeting assistant. So a couple of things there. Number one, for the recording, we of course use the Microsoft Teams transcript for the AI minutes or recaps. So number one, we can make sure we have that toggled on. You of course can go and turn that on manually once the meeting opens up if you don't want to have it auto-recorded, but this is a good way to make sure, hey, we never forget about it. Especially in a meeting series, you set that once, make sure it stays on every time that the meeting comes up from one week to the next. We can also select if we want that AI recap to post automatically or manually. Now, manually is great, if you want to make sure you can edit it beforehand. But if you are someone who has back-to-back-to-back meetings, maybe you want to get that out there and go edit it after the fact, you can set that to automatically and it will post in the meeting chat directly after the meeting ends. And then again, you have the ability to go back and edit it later if you need to. We also have now the ability to add the agenda assistant. So this is again going to be that chat bot within Microsoft Teams in the chat section. So a couple of things that we can do to make sure that agendas are fully ready to go ahead of a meeting. So number one, we can send out to collect agenda items. So you can still do it the old-fashioned way. You can push that out manually if you'd like, or you can set this based on whichever time frame that you prefer. And then it's going to go to all those team members, say, what do you want to talk about in this meeting? Number two, we can review by organizer. So that's going to send you as the organizer a reminder to review the agenda, especially if people had suggested some items. And then you can make sure that gets published out. And then you also have the ability to then auto-publish the agenda. So if that is something where you always want to make sure it's out, say 24 hours beforehand, you can set that and it's always going to publish it for you. So again, a few ways just to make it a little easier and automate some of those manual tasks you might be doing today. So let me go ahead and get that published out. All right, so now we are getting ready to get into our meeting. So in our meeting, with that transcript turned on, we know that when we're started, whether it's in person, virtual, hybrid, our conversation is going to be captured, and then we can focus on our meeting. So you obviously still have a few places to take those manual notes if you'd like. We'll talk about that a bit more when we're going through the recap and the minutes portion, what it recognizes, what it can pull in. But again, having that transcription turned on, you can focus on your conversation, you can be present in the meeting, and make sure that everything is getting you the best outcomes that you do possibly want. Now, while you're going through the meeting, if you do want to continue to make updates in the agenda, you can, of course, use those AI assistants as well. Maybe if you like to put additional notes in the agenda items, whatever it might be. All right, now the meeting has concluded. So then you, as the organizer, going back to run either the recap or either the minutes, we'll walk through both of those here. So we'll start with the recap. And that's going to provide this little pop-up here. And then first we want to recognize the meeting type. So decision is of course great in all types of meetings, whether it be virtual, hybrid, or in person. Selecting the correct one here just helps the AI make sure that it recognizes the conversation as best as possible. So if it's in hybrid, if you got a conference room setup going on, select the right one. Here we're virtual, so I'll leave it at that. Keep it as English, but if you do have any other languages, you can leverage decisions to translate into other languages. And then it's going to start to look for some different sources. So number one, the agenda is going to be included. Transcript as well. Now this is a demo meeting, so it's not automatically showing the transcript there. If you do have the transcript, it is going to auto populate there. So you don't have to do what I'm about to show here, but For example, if you happen to sometimes have meetings in Zoom or some other platform and you still want to leverage decisions, you can do so easily by uploading a VTT file. Let me just pull that up here. So now I've got the transcript in there. And then what else is it going to look for? Number one, tasks. So any tasks that we added manually, any decisions that we added manually, it's going to take any of those and recognize that we added them manually so that the AI doesn't duplicate them and we have a doubling of either once we complete this step. If there was anything in the meeting chat, again, during the meeting, it's going to recognize that, look to pull it in, and then include it on the recap if we'd like. Same with my notes. If you did any private OneNotes in the meeting, you can pull those in along with the Microsoft meeting notes. That's a great spot if you still have one person that takes those notes for the entire group throughout a meeting, rather than do it manually, although you can upload a picture or an image, which I'm going to do here now as well. That's a great spot to take those team-wide notes for one person within the Microsoft Teams meeting location so that it all gets captured effectively. Once we got everything that we want, we'll go ahead and generate the meeting recap. And then this is typically going to produce about 1 page. If you hadn't seen it before, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on the length of the conversation and the meeting. And this is great for one-on-ones, team meetings, project meetings, anything that's going to be a little less formal, if you will, something that doesn't need the structure of the more formal meeting minutes. And what it's going to produce for you is this document. So first, we have a paragraph, general overview. What was the conversation about? Next, key takeaways from the conversation, any important decisions that we made and we wanted to log within the decisions log, as well as those action items. So those tasks that are going to sync directly over to Planner. Now, our philosophy is always keep a human in the loop. We always want to give you the ability to fully edit this before you send it out. So if there's something in here that you don't want, you can, of course, type, delete, whatever it might be. If there's something that you simply want to delete completely, you can get rid of it completely. And then the tasks, if we need to add a due date, if maybe we didn't talk about it, we want to make sure there's a due date in there, who it's assigned to, we can fully edit those as well. Then what we can also do before moving forward to send it out to everybody, we have a couple of prompts if you want it to be more formal, if you do want to translate it, or if you want to include more details, you can use those prompts easily right here. You can also describe what you want to change. You know, a good example, working with a nonprofit, they typically like to have their names changed from the full name or the first name to just the initials for the person talking. So they would prompt it, please change this to initials, and it will go through and update those all for you. So prompt it how you like. Once it does look good and you're ready to send it out, you can hit next, and then we'll decide, of course, how we want to go ahead and share it. So in Teams, we can, of course, do the meeting chat. We can also share within the channel where we had saved that agenda in the first place as well, whichever works best. We can, of course, also email. Now, this is going to pull up everyone that is on the invite. We can add additional people as well. Or if we don't want to save to either, we can, of course, make sure it just gets saved in decisions and it's always there for anyone who needs to go back and find it as well. And then also want to sync those action items and the decisions list to the planner. If you don't want to, though, however, you can simply check that and then they won't sync. Just depends on if you want to have them in there or not. And then we can also add that meeting assistant to future meetings if this is a series to make sure that it's always there from one meeting to the next. Once we're ready to go, we'll go ahead and save that meeting recap. I'll let that send out, and then we're going to move over to running the minutes as well, which is going to look very similar in terms of the workflow, with just a couple of different twists and caveats compared to what we do for the recap there. Now, transitioning over to the meeting minutes. Again, great for your senior leadership meetings, board meetings, anything where we're going to need those more formal meeting minutes to be saved and accessible to people later on. So we'll start by clicking the meeting minutes. We're going to generate with AI. And then it's going to pull up the similar pieces of information that we had for the recap. So again, the agenda, transcript again. I'm going to go ahead and upload the transcript. then it's also going to see that we already had a couple of decisions that were logged. That was from doing the recap previously. So again, the transcript's not going to duplicate those. And then we can include any open tasks if we like, if we want those on the document. Then we can also mark people absent if we'd like as well. So let's say David actually might have been absent this time. We can go ahead and do so. Same deal if you got some notes you want to post here, images, a whiteboard, add those in. It's going to read them all and produce that document that we want. So I will go ahead and start to generate the meeting minutes here. Now this one does take a few more seconds than the recap because it's capturing that entire conversation. It's going to produce a longer document with more details to each of the conversation and agenda points. And what it's going to do while that's going, it's going to take that conversation and it's going to put the important pieces of that talk into the different agenda items. So for decisions needed, for example, it's going to find that piece of the conversation and make sure the right sections are populating properly here. And then at the end, it's going to have another section for any extra conversation that maybe didn't fit right into one of those specific agenda items. But then each of those is also going to have the different tasks, the different decisions that were made, whatever it might be. So there's the other topics as well. Now, you can also fully edit directly in here. So before I open it up in Word, where you can continue to edit it as well, just like the recap, we can now fully edit it in here. So if we want to add any decisions, if we want to edit any of those tasks, if we want to add anything additional to the body of specific agenda items or delete anything, we can go ahead and do so here. Same as before, can do the same by prompting it as well. Once that looks good, we'll go ahead and hit next. You, of course, can do this in both Word as well as OneNote. I'm going to go ahead and open it up in Word. So let me get that started. And I'll pull it into the screen once it has populated and started to merge over using the decisions add-in within Microsoft Word. So it'll populate here. Make sure I get that over in the screen. All right. So of course, with the meeting documents manager, it's going to start to take all that information and then populate it over here in Word. We'll give it a second just to think it through and make sure it gets added.
It's not in screen at the moment.
Oh, that's right. I got to share the right one because I was sharing window. Thank you for. There we go. We good to go?
Good to
Yes,
go.
sir.
Perfect. All right. I forgot I was sharing window rather than the full screen. So thank you for the heads up. Perfect. All right. So while that was happening, it populated. We got it merged here. So again, you made your edits over in decisions, but let's say maybe you've sent it out to review to someone, or there's something you came back and you realized, hey, I want to continue to edit it. You can still do so here since it is a Word document. One thing I always like to mention here when you're using the meeting documents manager, especially in the AI portion as well, for those tasks or decisions, let's say I added a new decision in here. I did so on the right-hand side. Always want to make sure that I sync those over to decisions so that they populate correctly within both the decisions list as well as the tasks in Planner. Again, if you made any edits within the Word document. We can then, of course, go ahead and finalize, create the PDF. While that's cycling through to create the PDF, I'm going to start to get my phone ready here. So I'm going to move forward over to how we can use the mobile app as well for conversations. So I see that has gone through. So we can, of course, then go ahead and share this out to the individuals that we need to, email, Teams, go ahead and get it sent out, and we're good to go. We can move on with our day and get those documents out there very quickly, utilizing AI, of course. Now, Danny had also mentioned utilizing the mobile app. So if anyone hasn't had a chance to use the mobile app, certainly recommend downloading it and giving it a try. It's good for any of your meetings that you have in person, in a conference room, in your office, whatever it might be. You know, whether it is a meeting that you have regularly scheduled, or if someone just happens to walk in your office and you want to make sure you record the conversation. It's great for all of those. So I'm going to share my screen here for a second. Let that pop up. All right, now let me get to decisions. So this is the landing page for the mobile app. So what it's going to show you is all of the meetings that you have coming up like it normally would in the desktop as well. You can filter through those. You can leverage the My Assistant in here as well too. For example, if you have specific questions you want to schedule a meeting, you can do that directly here in the Decisions app, just as you would in the desktop version as well too. If we want to record a meeting, down at the bottom, you see it has the AI note taker. It also has it in the meeting that we're in existing as well too. So either entry point is going to work. Not going to be able to work through the entire workflow just because it would overwrite what's recording on here now. But what it looks like if I hit that bottom button, it's going to open it up. So say you're in your office in a conference room, you hit start that AI note taker. It's going to start to record that conversation. Once you're done, at the very bottom, you can hit end. And then it's going to allow you to work through either creating the recap directly here on your phone. You can edit it there. You can finalize it there. Or if you'd like, you can transfer it to your desktop and you can finish there. So whichever works best, you can go ahead and leverage the app for those in-person meetings, whether you have an actual meeting scheduled or not. All right. With that, I'll get it back over to both Jose and Danny so they can continue on with the conversation.
Great. Thanks, Ben. All right, we're going to push forward in the slides. Take it away, Jose. You are on mute, sir.
Yes, thank you for that, Danny. So what's next? That is going to be talking about the Q&A. You guys have put in some really great questions into the chat. I've answered some, but I will also answer some of the new ones that have just come in too. So we'll try to go through this, and then there's one more bit of information that we'll talk about after this. So let's get into it. First one that came in, do you have to have Copilot in order to use Decisions AI? No, you don't. We are a different AI system. We're still under the Microsoft architecture, but you do not need to have a Copilot license to use Decisions. Although I will mention it's not an either or thing. We do integrate with Copilot to be able to enhance what both does. Next question was, will the recording be available after the session? Yes, it will. We'll have this sent out to all of you who have registered for this. It'll also be on YouTube as well, so be on the lookout for that. Next one was a question about auto-deleting chats from like one-on-ones and such, and how that could potentially affect the AI working. So the thought process there is pretty simple. The information needs to be there in the Microsoft account in order for our AI to find it. So if the meeting chat gets auto-deleted, or if you actually delete it, then the AI won't be able to find the information, just basic stuff with the Microsoft account. If it's not there, we won't be able to find it. Then
I got something to add there too as well too on the meeting chat. So I didn't have a chance to dive in and show it today. But if you're not leveraging or using the meeting chat in Teams, on the right-hand panel within an agenda, for example, if you hit comments in Decisions, that's actually going to pull up the meeting chat as well too. So it's a good central way where you can leverage that meeting chat directly in Decisions, even if you've deleted it over in the Teams section, and it'll start to recognize those from what you put in Decisions.
That's a great point, Ben. And also to lean on what the guys were saying earlier, since that's not an AI direct functionality, if you have any questions or want to dive into that part a little bit deeper, let us know. Most likely we are one of your account managers, so we'll be glad to go over that with you guys. Next bit, how do you edit the agenda publishing options after the fact? So there's two ways to approach this. One will be through the notification/publishing process. As soon as you go through that again, it'll actually pop up those options once again. The other way would be just through the AI assistant. You can type to it and then ask for that information, and it'll help you by pulling it up there directly or sending you a link to the meeting to be able to do that. So that's another quick thing that you can do. A lot of great questions in here, so let's go on to the next. All right, so somebody had an agenda item that had everybody labeled as all. So will the AI be able to pick up on everybody who's speaking? Unfortunately, it won't in a situation where everybody is talking onto one audio source. But the key to being able to handle this properly in our platform is going to be through the meeting type toggle that is in the very beginning of the recap or meeting minutes process, where it says virtual, hybrid, or in person. So if you're looking at a virtual meeting, Decisions AI will trust that you have everybody speaking for themselves on their own audio source. But once you get into hybrid or in-person meetings, that's where the AI won't be able to make that assumption, because there's going to be at least one audio source where everybody is talking into that, more than one person specifically. So in that situation, it'll drop the familiarity of what was being said and just give you the information, just so that way it's not making any wrong assumptions. Next one that came in toward the back end. Is there a way to have Decisions record a phone call or a live meeting to take notes? The phone call part will not work just because it uses the same audio source on the cell phone. But for the live meeting itself, the in-person meeting, like Ben was showing with our Decisions AI app on your phone, that is a great way to be able to record that in-person session and use that to be able to create a recap or a meeting minutes, depending on what workflow you need to work with. We're still doing good on time, so I can keep diving into this. Ooh, some more came in while I was reading. You guys are busy. I love it. All right, so I've been using Decisions for a few weeks now, but ran out of credits and wasn't able to run a summary or meeting minutes. Okay, so if you run out of credits, I highly recommend talking to your account manager or your customer success manager, because we'll be able to help you work through how to get more credits. It's most likely going to be a situation of either waiting till the first of the month or getting a premium license. More on that to come, but that'll be the easiest way to get to the bottom of it quicker. Next up, can Decisions AI be used without having the meeting recorded? Yes and no. So the meeting recording is extremely important for us, because that transcript helps the AI be very accurate with what is going to be there. But in a case where you cannot record the meeting, you can still rely on the notes that you take, and then other parts inside of Decisions to be able to actually use the AI to manipulate that information to create the content that you want. So it is possible, but the transcript is really crucial to give you the best content possible. Is the AI feature where you can set up the auto function to auto send out the agenda automatically? Yes, so that was a part of what Ben was showing. There is some functionality that is in there once you go to publish, where you can control how it automatically goes out. So be on the lookout for that. That is where you'll be able to do that. How do I find my account manager? So you can reply back to the information from the meeting. There's, I believe, an info@meetingdecisions.com email address. It'll come to your account manager or your CS manager, and we will reach out to you so we can go over these things too. Next one, when creating tasks or action items and tagging multiple individuals on a single task, is there a way to prevent one person updating the task for the group, or do you need to create separate tasks for the individual? Great question. This is specifically a planner functionality. So as of right now, there's a few things you can do inside of Planner to be able to do this, like essentially creating a smaller checklist inside of a larger option, a larger Planner task, I should say, where you'll be able to have extra steps in there to be able to work up to being completed. But yes, you do have to be careful with that, because individuals who are tagged to the actual task can complete it. So that's just the basic functionality of Planner. So you do have to be careful with that. But yeah, that's how you would handle that situation. We're still doing okay on time, so I will keep going since you guys keep having questions. I love this. how would you manage impromptu meetings where you record on the go? Can the AI tool help manage actions from the recording? Yes. So great thought process. The mobile app is going to be crucial for that impromptu meeting on the go. So if it's in person, obviously just take out your cell phone, hit the record button, pop your phone in between you guys, and then just have the conversation as you usually would. Once it's over, hit stop, and then you can send out the actual information. So you can attach it onto an existing meeting or one that you have for yourself inside of your OneDrive. You'll have to manipulate the information. So depending on what you're trying to do, it may be a better idea to send this information to Teams and the desktop to be able to manipulate the information properly. But the mobile app will be really crucial for that idea. All right, next one. If you're recording a live meeting, I assume that it's not able to tell who is speaking. How does decisions handle this in the recap? Covered that already. That is, we'll either trust that if it's a virtual meeting and everyone's speaking for themselves, or we'll drop the familiarity and just present the information according to what's on the transcript. So that should help with that thought process. Next up, can you please repeat the account manager information? You're talking too fast. I missed it. Yep, not a problem. So off the back of this session, you'll get an email from us. It should be coming from info@meetingdecisions.com. So you could also just email that email address directly as well. But that is the easiest way to get the information in front of us, and then we will reach out to you to help you with whatever questions that you have. And for that too, I will type in here info@meetingdecisions.com. So that way you have that in writing as well, so you could copy and paste that. All right, I think we are getting closer to time. I could probably answer one or two more of these. Next up, can you format the minutes to change from a paragraph style to a more truncated bullet point format? Yes, you can. So actually with the meeting minutes, we have the ability to create them for you in a specific format and style. It's a option that we have that we can sell to you. Or if you have someone on your staff who is good with HTML coding, they can also change up actual template to be able to format the information as you want. But the other great part about this too is the fact that it's a Word document to start off with. If you do it through Word, you have full options to be able to change that information to whatever way you want it to be. All right, and I think the last one that I will cover is going to be, can Decisions AI interact with ChatGPT? Can I use content created by Decisions in ChatGPT? All right, so great question. So as of right now, there are no open APIs in our platform to be able to have us interacting directly with tools outside of the Microsoft architecture. But it doesn't mean you can't kick it a little old school, copy and paste some stuff and drop that into ChatGPT to be able to use the content that you create with Decisions and put it into ChatGPT. There's also connectors between different parts of the Microsoft ecosystem and ChatGPT. So as long as you point ChatGPT in the direction of where the content is, you should be able to use the content created by Decisions for that thought process. And I think that's all we're going to have time to cover today, guys. Apologies, I saw there's some extras in the chat, but there is one more thing that I did want to go over just because it's an important thought process. So with that, let's change the slide and let's talk about a little bit of the fine print of the situation. That's how our AI credit system works. So right now, all of you who are current Decisions customers have access to our AI tools inside of the platform. It is not an extra charge, but it does come with a credit system. So it's 100 AI credits per month that you get. That will do roughly about 3 to 5 agenda creations, and then 1 to 2 meeting minutes or recap per month. Now, once you run out of the actual credits, you'll not be able to use the AI more, you can wait until the first of the month to be able to get your next allocation of credits, or you can talk to one of us. There is an option where we can get specific premium AI licenses for specific users to essentially give them an uncredit capped experience with our AI so that you can use it as much as you can over the course of the month. That being said, I highly recommend that if this is something that is really speaking to you and your organization, talk to us. There are some really exciting promotions that we have to end the year. So we'll be able to actually get you into the AI with an uncredited capabilities in a much more attractive price range. So please talk to us. We'll be glad to have these conversations with you all. But most importantly, get out there and use the AI, guys. This is going to be such a fantastic tool to help you be faster and sharper with your meetings in a world where meetings are happening back to back. Do yourself the favor, make your life easier, use this AI since you have it built into something that you're already using, and let's make meetings better for everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Special shout out to Ben and Danny for your presentations today. That was really fantastic. And we will look forward to talking to you guys more. Have a great day.
Thank you.